Greetings and welcome to my video project assignment for Introduction to Cultural Traditions. For this video, I will be summarizing and answering critically the questions posted in respect to Sophocles' play Antigone. In the assigned reading from this work of Sophocles, we are told the story of a grieving sister who lost both of her brothers during a battle in Thebes, and the lengths that she went to ensure that one of them, who was named a traitor, was given a proper burial. In this play, there were 4 siblings, 2 sisters, Antigone and Ismene, and 2 brothers, Eteocles and Polynices. It's important to note that all 4 of these siblings were of royal descent. After the death of both brothers during battle, where they both inflicted a fatal wound to the other, self-proclaimed King Creon decrees that Eteocles will be buried with full military honors, while his brother, Polynices, who led a foreign army into battle against Eteocles, be left on the battlefield. This decree tears the grieving Antigone apart, and after a failed attempt to gain the help of her sister, Ismene, she chooses to disobey the law and partially bury Polynices on her own. When Creon is advised that someone disobeyed him, he's furious and wants to know who was so bold as to disobey him. Now, his decree was very straightforward. His decree was that whoever disobeyed him and buried Polynices would suffer punishment and be put to death. Antigone is brought before the king, where she admits to this deed, and even though her sister tried to share the blame and suffer the punishment alongside her, it's Antigone who admits that she acted alone.
Which moments, scenes, ideas, etc. in this work contributed to your understanding of the culture, values, and society in which it was produced? In what ways? Be specific.
So, Antigone wanted to bury her brother because it was in accordance with God's will. There was a part where she mentioned that there was no guilt and reverence for the dead, and that leaving her brother, when she was caught by the king, that leaving her brother unburied was not God's proclamation. So when she had buried him, in her mind, she was acting in accordance with what her values were in terms of her faith in God and the religious beliefs that the strong religious beliefs that they had in God's, and how not only just that, but how the gods seemed to act in ways that weren't necessarily seen by a person. As a matter of fact, on the battlefield, when before Antigone's was brought in front of the king, when the body was discovered to be buried, they thought that it was the work of the gods. And when the king said, how is this a thing? He hasn't done anything for the gods but looted their temples and things like that. It gave me the understanding that the belief of the gods and how they interacted with the people was a very strong value and belief in this particular time period.
Which moments, scenes, ideas, etc. in this work contributed to your understanding of your own culture and the values of your society? And in what ways? Be specific.
So, in regards to religion, there are many strong values and beliefs in regards to a higher being, a higher power, God or gods. And in this particular case, I think that in today's society, much of our culture is grounded in the belief that there is a higher power or a God, if you will. And that's really what drives a lot of spiritual values and spiritual beliefs as far as religions are concerned.
Would you recommend this text to others? If so, why? If not, why not? Be specific.
I mean, I would recommend this text. It is it's a very interesting story in the sense that, well, one, you had a royal family that was really kind of torn apart because King Creon was he was a self-proclaimed king. His brother had died, and it was his nieces and nephews, actually his two nephews that had killed each other, and the two nieces that survived. And I think it's very interesting to read, to kind of get an idea on how strong the values were in terms of a sense of strength from Antigone's, and how her faith was grounded not in fear, that she feared the king's decree, but in a sense that her strength was grounded in faith in God. That it didn't matter that the king had decreed that whoever disobeyed him would be put to death, or anything like that, but it was her constant faith that this is what was God's will, this is what God would want, and acting upon that without really giving second thought to the decree that the king had handed down. So I think it's a good play. I actually found it very entertaining to read, and that's it. I'm done.